everyone, to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. It is the holiday time and we're all baking delicious goodies. If you love Italian cream cake, which everyone loves it, it's so moist and nutty and delicious, but it does take a little bit of work. If you don't want to go through all of the effort and make the layers and ice it and do all that hard work, then this recipe is for you because I turned Italian cream cake into a bundt cake, which keeps it super moist. It has that vanilla cream cheese topping, or icing I should say, the coconut, the toasted pecans, all of the flavors with just a little bit of work, which is what we love around here, especially during this busy time. It's perfect if you want to serve something special for a dinner party, if you want to bring a gift to somebody who has you over for dinner. This is perfect for that. Let me show you how I make it. Okay, so we're going to begin by combining the dry ingredients. In my bowl over here, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of almond flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I'm just going to whisk this all together. And then in another bowl, I'm going to add the shredded sweetened coconut. This is 1 full cup of it. It's actually a heaping cup because I love coconut in this. And then I have pecans, just plain pecans. If you want to toast them for extra flavor, you can pop them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 7-8 minutes and then let them cool completely, and finally chop them in a handheld food processor, just like this. Add them to the bowl with the coconut, and you can take 1 to 2 tablespoons of that flour mixture and just mix everything all together so that way they're coated with a little bit of flour. This is going to help them disperse evenly throughout the cake. And then I'll also zest an orange in here. You can do a lemon if you want. It adds great flavor. Set that aside. Now we're going to combine the wet ingredients in the mixer. So I started off with a paddle attachment. I should have used a whisk attachment for this. It just works better, but the paddle will do the job. 3/4 pound of unsalted butter that's nice and soft and at room temperature. If you forgot to take it out, you can pop it in the microwave for a few seconds. Make sure you don't melt it though. And then add 2 cups of confectioner sugar to this and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of pure almond extract. It adds really nice richness. Whisk that all together, or let it beat all together, first on low speed and then on high so you don't end up wearing all that powdered sugar until it's nice and fluffy for a few minutes. Then I have 1/2 cup of whole milk and 1/2 cup of plain yogurt. I'll whisk that together in this bowl over here. So the trick to getting yogurt to room temperature is heat up the milk, make it nice and hot, and then you add it to the cold yogurt. Then the whole mixture is going to be at the perfect temperature. I like to add my baking soda to this, so 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I prefer whenever I can to add the baking soda to the wet ingredients rather than the dry. I feel like it mixes much better. You'll never get a bite of that bitter baking soda. You know you've had it. If you've had it in cakes before, it happens to everyone. It's happened to me several times, but mixing it in the wet ingredients gets it activated and just does a much better job. Whisk that all together. And before you add it to your butter ingredients, we're going to add 5 large eggs that are at room temperature into the butter, 1 at a time. If you forgot to take your eggs out, again, you don't want to add cold eggs to this. It'll seize the butter and start to harden it again. So just take your eggs and put them in warm water and do that a few times. Change out the water until the eggs are at room temperature. Add them to the butter. It's going to start to curdle, but don't worry about it. Whisk it at high speed and then reduce the speed to low and add the milk, yogurt, and soda mixture at this point. Whisk that all together until everything is combined, and then add the flour a little bit at a time until it's all combined. Then go in and add the pecans and the coconut. Mix that in just until everything is combined, and that's it. You can use a spatula to scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl to make sure that everything is nice and even. At this point, it is so important to butter your bundt pan really, really well. So the first time I recorded this video, I just went really lightly with the butter and then it was a disaster. The cake got stuck, and as you see in the video, it was just not good. So the second time I did it, I went in really, really carefully. I melted some butter. I made sure I greased the bundt pan everywhere because bundt pans are decorative. They have all these little nooks and crannies. You want to make sure you get all of them. And then I also went in with a little bit of flour, covered the butter with the flour, and then I tapped out the excess flour because you don't want to have a thick coating of flour on the exterior of your bundt cake. And then I did an extra step, which was I have some baking spray, just plain avocado baking spray, sprayed it really lightly over the butter and the flour, and then I went in and I added all of the batter, even it out, and you can tap the pan a little bit on the counter just to get rid of some of those air bubbles. This is going to go onto a baking tray just because it's so easy to take it out of the oven and it makes it safer. This will bake on the middle rack. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll take between 40 to 50 minutes for the cake to be ready. You'll know it's ready once you insert a toothpick into the center and it comes out clean. Let the cake rest for 15-20 minutes just so that way it can cool down a little bit. If you can run a knife around the edges just to release the cake a little bit, it would be a good idea. And then very carefully invert it onto your serving platter, and it should come out really easily if you buttered the pan well. And make sure you do that, because trust me, you don't want to waste your time. Even though it tastes delicious with coffee, but you want it to look beautiful too. Now at this point you want to let the cake cool completely at room temperature. That's going to take about an hour or so. Once it's done, you can make a beautiful icing for this, and the icing is really simple. You're going to take 8 ounces of cream cheese that's been sitting at room temperature, add it to your mixing bowl with 1 cup of confectioner sugar, about ½ teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Whisk that all together until it's nice and fluffy, and then you can thin it out with 3 or 4 tablespoons of milk or heavy cream just to get it to a nice consistency. It'll be a nice smooth consistency. Whisk it on high speed so it's nice and smooth and fluffy. I like to transfer this to a pastry bag that's fitted with a large open star attachment. All of the links for these will be in my Amazon store. And then you just pipe the icing all around the cake however you like. You can make swirls or lines like I'm doing, and then I like to finish this off with some sweetened shredded coconut. If you want to toast some pecans, you can add those on top as well. If you want to make it a little more festive, if you're doing this around Christmas time or the holidays, and you can get some candied cranberries or candied raspberries, something red and pretty, that would look beautiful on top of this too. And that's it, the cake is ready to serve. And there you have it, the Italian cream bundt cake is ready. I love when I make mistakes when I do the videos, because then you don't have to make those mistakes. And if you don't butter the bundt cake really well, there's a high chance that all that work is gonna go down the drain. So you don't wanna do that. Make sure that you butter it well like I did in the video, because I showed you what happened the first time around. We didn't waste it. It was delicious with coffee, but we were going for a whole cake, not pieces. Anyways, it's so good. This cake is so good and it's so easy to make. Just butter the pan really well. Another reason I love this is because you can make this well ahead of time. So you can make the actual cake portion a few weeks ahead of time, let it cool completely, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap, and then right before you're ready to serve it, let it thaw out, and then ice it with the cream cheese icing, and life is so easy. If you like tips like that, stay tuned, because I have a hosting series coming up after the new year. I'm so excited about that, but that's for another time. If you want to make this cake, head on over to the website, dimitrasdishes.com, to print it out and get all the step-by-step instructions. I hope you give this a try, and if you do, let me know how it turns out in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Gracias.